What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Dueling Network. My name is Corey, and it's time to overlay into my network with an awesome deck profile today for you guys. Today, we're going to be talking about my Orcust deck profile. I really like this deck. I think it's actually a pretty solid budget deck, and it's also a pretty solid rogue deck, and honestly, in the meta, I think that this game is an A-tier style deck. If you haven't checked out my tier list that I just recently did, pretty substantial tier list. It's got a lot of good information in there regarding some of the top decks, and I think Orcust is among some of the best decks in the format currently. My tier list video actually covered a lot of the decks that were featured at the 300th YCS in Richmond, Virginia, of which I did predict that there was going to be at least one of them in the finals, and that was Branded Draco Tail, but that is not the deck that ended up winning. What ended up winning was actually a Radiant Typhoon Yummy deck. So very, very shocking to see the Yummy cards kind of making a comeback, but the Radiant Typhoon was no surprise as one of the best decks in the entire game right now. But I think Orcust is also a very, very solid deck. It's a very solid strategy. I think that you can actually steal a lot of games with this deck. And a lot of players really are not expecting this deck to be as potent as some of the other decks and the other strategies, but I do think that you can steal some games because I think it's a very unexpected deck. Without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get right into the deck profile, starting off with the monsters. So starting off with the monsters, we have triple Orcust Harp Horror. Harp Horror is obviously one of the best cards in the entire deck. It obviously is one of the more important cards in the deck. You definitely need this card to kind of get your play started, and this card is really necessary to be in the graveyard at all times. You don't really want this card in your hand, and there's some extra spice in this deck to kind of show you exactly other ways we could get this card into our graveyard if we don't have an Orcust monster. Next up, we have Girsu, triple Girsu. Triple Girsu is kind of necessary for you to get into your core plays, which unleash a lot of your combos. So when you get Babel into your field zone, one of the things you have to understand is that you cannot utilize the effects of the monsters, the effect monsters in your main monster zone during your opponent's turn. That's only for link monsters. Even your Ningirsu, your XEs that you go into, that's not what you're utilizing for the quick effects on your opponent's turn from Babel. Instead, it's the link monsters and the Orcust monsters in your graveyard. So that's important to keep that in mind, and you want to get Girsu in your graveyard as fast as possible. Also, we have Orcust symbol Skeleton. I think Skeleton is a great card for this build. I have it at 3. I don't think the other one's that necessary to play at all. I think triple Skeleton is way better than even just adding in one of those. So that's why we decided and opted for the triple Skeleton. Next, we have the one Orcust Nightmare. Orcust Nightmare is great to get a lot of your combo plays even going. It's the standard Orcust combo with your Orcust Nightmare. You definitely want to have just at least one of these. You're only ever going to really utilize one. For the World Legacy cards, we are playing the one World Legacy World Crown. And then we are playing, obviously, the one World Wand. You don't really need any more than one for these things. They're just in there for extenders, but because they're a part of the Orcust line and story as well, that's kind of why we have these here in the deck. But they do provide a massive amount of support for the deck as a whole. Hand traps, we're playing triple Ash Blossom, Enjoy Spring. Ash Blossom is pretty intense. It just automatically shuts down whatever your opponent is trying to do. It really does cause a lot of frustration for your opponent in a wide variety of ways. I think that this is the best hand trap personally, next to the second best hand trap, Mulcharmy, Koalos. Definitely want to play triple Mulcharmy. Koalos, this card is just disgusting. The things that you can do, if you open up, if you're going second and you open up with 2 of these in hand, the fact that you can just draw 2 off of this, or I even saw someone open up with 3. I mean, it's just demoralizing for your opponent. Just a +3 is insane. Now, granted, you do have to use the end phase effect of that, but at least you have decisions, and you can literally just pick the hand that you want. Okay, so that does it for the monsters, guys. Let's go ahead and get into the spells. So for the spells, we have a couple different cards, and the first card is a discard card, but is also hands down the best board breaker in the game, and that is triple super polymerization. Triple super polymerization is absolutely insane. And the reason why this is absolutely insane is because this literally just breaks your opponent's boards, and there's really nothing that they can even do about it. I mean, there's so much you can do with this card, and the amount of baits that you can do with this card, and the amount of things that you can do with it. This is like what you want a Radiant Typhoon player to hit on your side of the board. That way you can utilize its effect to kind of remove whatever they're trying to do. It's just a really good, basically, scapegoat, no pun intended, for your opponent to kind of take this card out, because they're thinking that it's probably a problematic card that's like maybe like an impermanence, or even a card that is utilized within your archetype. So Super Poly is an unbelievable bait for destruction, but it's also just a complete and utter demoralizing board breaker as a whole. Another solid board breaker that gets Orcust monsters into your graveyard is triple Forbidden Droplet. You definitely need to max out on Droplet, because number one, it is a great way of getting cards into your graveyard, and you want Orcust monsters in your graveyard. So this is the way to do it. And then the way that you utilize this is you're going to be utilizing this to get as many Orcust cards into your graveyard, and you can even utilize this on your opponent's turn, moving forward, and get even more monsters into your graveyard from your hand. It's just a solid strategy to create more disruption for your opponent. Next, we're playing the double Foolish Burial of Goods. Getting Crescendo into the graveyard is also really solid, and also even getting Babble in the graveyard is pretty solid, because you can recycle Babble back to your hand. And then here is the spice. So the spice for the deck that I am utilizing is double Mask Change 2. So the reason why I'm using double Mask Change 2 is because all your Orcust cards are dark, and you can have a walking dimensional feature, walking Macrocosmos on your opponent's board in the form of Masked Hero Darklaw. Yes, we are playing Darklaw in this build. But also, it's a discard. It says you can discard one card, then target one face-up monster you control that has at a level, and send it to the graveyard. Also, after that, if we left the field, let us spec special summon one from your extra deck one Masked Hero monster with the same attribute but higher level than the attribute / level the monster had when it was on the field, and its original attribute level if it face down. So this card is really strong. Love this card for this deck. I've been utilizing it a lot online, and it just provides such a strong presence for your opponent. Now you got to utilize this before you go into your plays, or you can drop this on your opponent's turn when you haven't done any of your plays yet. And just dropping this on your opponent's turn is disgusting, but you have to make sure that you have a level dark monster on your board. So if you the main target that you're utilizing for this one is your Girsu. You're using your Girsu because your Girsu you can get out and special summon onto the board, and overall it's just a very solid card in this build. I really like it a lot. There's a lot you can do with this card. Next, we play the one Orcust Babble. Obviously, you don't need many more than one. And then we have the one Pot of Prosperity, one Crossout Designator, one Called by the Grave, and then finally one Foolish Burial to round out the spells. Okay, so that rounds out the spells, guys. Let's go ahead and get into traps. So for the traps, we obviously are playing some of the better traps in the game right now, but I think these are solid strategies. We're not playing your typical Dominus cards. I can't afford those right now, but hopefully they get reprinted and I'll be able to afford them. So a good substitute is triple Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is still a very solid card. You can definitely do a lot with this card, and it does cause a lot of obnoxious issues for your opponent, especially when you open it with two of them. One Orcust Crescendo, really solid card. We're playing the Black Goat Laughs, and then my trap spice for the deck is Deck Devastation Virus, and of course, Eradicator Epidemic Virus. These two cards are just disgusting. And in fact, when you activate both of these cards on your opponent's turn at the same time, oh my goodness, it is demoralizing. I've actually triggered these on my opponent's turn a couple times, both of them at the same time. I actually did it 2 games in a row. I triggered both of these in the same turn 2 games in a row, and my opponent, that guy was not very happy with me after that one. So not that it was he was mad. He wasn't mad that he couldn't that I activated him. He was mad that he ran out of time. He didn't get to his combo pieces fast enough before the viruses went off. So really strong in this deck as well. Lots of spice in the deck and a lot of disruption in the deck. That's kind of what Orcust does, all about disruption. So that does it for the traps in the main deck, guys. Let's go ahead and get into the extra deck. So starting off with the extra deck, we have the this is actually one of my favorite ones. This is the newer cards, Enlilgirsu. Love Enlilgirsu. He's really strong. Just a lot of disruption again on your opponent's turn. Just offers a lot for you. Then we have Galateo the First, the new Link 1. This card is one of the best cards in the entire extra deck. Just adding such an obnoxious presence on the board. Now you cannot use this to go into your Dingirsu, but it's still a solid choice to have. Then we obviously have everyone's favorite girl with the scythe, Galatea. Playing 2 Galatea. You kind of got to play 2. 3's too much, but I think 2 is just fine. Rounding out the Link monsters for Orcust, we have Longirsu. This card's still really strong. Just can provide so much utility for you as a whole. The Orcust Link monsters just really strong. Next, for the generic links, I played the 1 Borrelsword Dragon. I think the Borrelsword Dragon is better for you instead of using Axis Code, because Axis Code does not allow you to play dark monsters after you banish them, so you don't want to be able to utilize that. So Borrelsword is better. Then we play the 1 dark, so Gloomy, the Dark Charmer. 1 IP to go into our 1 SP. And then we have a couple different targets. So we have our Super Poly targets in the form of Predaplant. Then we have Chaos. And then, of course, Mud Dragon. Can't go wrong with the Mud Dragon. And then after that, we have our Masked Hero Dark Law. And then, of course, our Dingirsu. So, well, guys, that's going to do it for the deck profile here. I really hope you enjoyed it. This was my Orcust deck profile for the February 2026 format. We're going to be moving into March soon, which means that Maze of Muertos is coming out, and we're going to be seeing some cool Dark Magician stuff. Really hoping to get my hands on some of the cool Dark Magician stuff. My guess is I probably won't be able to, because it's probably going to be super expensive. But you never know. Maybe the Pumpkin King archetype will definitely overtake that, because that's going to be coming out soon too. With that, the Pumpkin King stuff looks absolutely insane. Bones is going to be a meta tier deck with some of the crazy zombie combos you can do. Really cool stuff that's coming out for Yu-Gi-Oh! And then obviously Rarity Collection 5. So hopefully going to get some Fenrir. I'm waiting for the Cashier stuff to get reprinted. Hopefully some of the Dominus cards get reprinted. That'd be really good to see as well. But like I said, guys, this was my Orcust deck profile. If there's anything that you guys liked about it, or if you want to change about it, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I'm always curious to hear what you guys' thoughts are. I obviously do not know everything, and I'm always willing to learn new ways to play. And just all I ask is that you keep it cool, keep it clean, be generous, and be nice to everyone in the comments. It's always better to just give constructive criticism instead of being a jerk. That being said, guys, thank you for overlaying into my network. This is Corey of the Dueling Network. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can get an update on every time I upload a video. So, like I said, guys, that's going to be it for me. Until next time, I'll see you. Peace.